As a member of a theatre group, I thought my dare was going to be easy, and I guess in some ways it was, but I didn't expect it to change my life. Every year, our community theatre group took part in a playful tradition, a night of truth or dare to shake off the stage jitters before opening night. On that night, I became the star of a play I hadn't auditioned for, a play that was unscripted and profoundly personal. His name was Liam, the theatre's golden boy. With a voice that could melt hearts and a charm that was impossible to resist, he had a way of lighting up the stage like no other. There was an undeniable magnetism between us, a connection that somehow felt like both a grand overture and a delicate duet. As the bottle spun around, each daring act or confessional truth ramped up the evening's intensity. Nervous laughter echoed through the old theatre walls, building up to my turn. The clinking of the bottle ended with its narrow end pointing at me. A collective "ooh" filled the room as Liam, the orchestrator of the evening, leaned in to deliver my dare. My heart pounded in my chest, my mind dizzy with anticipation. Liam looked me dead in the eye, a mischievous glint in his eyes, a playful smile curling at his lips. "Lena," he said, "you have to perform the most romantic scene you can imagine. With me." I looked at him, my mind momentarily frozen, my heart stuttering in my chest. He was asking me to put on a show, but not just any show. It felt like an invitation to reveal my hidden feelings, to bring to life the scenes I'd imagined in secret. Without missing a beat, I nodded, accepting his challenge. "All right, let's give them a show," I replied, my voice steady despite the butterflies fluttering in my stomach. As we stepped onto the impromptu stage of our dressing room, I felt a rush of adrenaline. This was it, my moment to confess without confessing, to put on a performance that wasn't entirely a performance. I led him to the center of the room, my fingers brushing against his. Under the watchful eyes of our friends, we began our scene. I drew from my feelings, hidden under layers of friendship and professional camaraderie. "Imagine," I began, my voice quivering slightly, "we're at a train station. You're leaving. We don't know when we'll see each other again." With a nod, he played along, his eyes locked on mine, his presence grounding me. "I don't want to go," he said, his voice laden with an emotion that seemed too genuine to be entirely made up. We moved around the room, our lines blurring between fiction and reality. We spoke of longing, of love, of the agony of parting. We expressed feelings that we had never dared to express before. And then, as the climactic end to our scene, I stepped forward, my hands framing his face. "This is the part where we kiss goodbye," I whispered, my eyes fluttering closed as I leaned in. The room around us fell into a hushed silence as our lips met, the air crackling with electricity. It was a soft, lingering kiss, filled with a passion that I had long kept hidden. As I pulled away, I found him looking at me with a wide-eyed realization, a mirror of my own feelings reflected in his gaze. The room erupted into applause, our friends cheering and hooting at the conclusion of our performance. I walked away, my heart pounding and my mind reeling. That night we had laid bare a truth that had been bubbling under the surface for so long. From that evening on, our relationship transformed. We started sharing glances that held a little too much warmth, touches that lingered a little too long. The stage was no longer the only place where we found ourselves playing out romantic scenes. That night of truth or dare had dared us to step into a new act of our lives, one far more exhilarating than any play we'd ever performed. It was our love story, unscripted and full of unexpected twists. But oh, what a beautiful act it turned out to be.
This short story is part of a 6-part Truth or Dare confession series entitled Red-Faced Confessions, 6 Spicy Truth or Dare Stories. Part 1. To hear the other 5 confessions in this series and other stories like this one, please subscribe to the Romance Diaries on YouTube And if you have enjoyed this story, please show us some love by hitting the like button.
Do you want me to read it or just talk from memory?